go out on a limb and say that you guys could use more workers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just like everybody else.
Yep.
So could you give me, an idea of what your needs are, or, how many people you need, or what it looks like right now?
So, we need people not only to continue to grow and expand, but we need to be able to replace our current workforce, right? One of the nice benefits for employees in our industry is they have nice pension plans. So they can retire, in their late 50s, early 60s, mid 50s, kind of depending on their situation. But they're able to retire fairly early. They're not having to work until their mid 60s or later, like some of us may have to do.
Right.
So we need to be able to replace them. And roughly our average age of our workforce is in the mid 40s, right? So we need to be able to continue to bring people in to replace them, plus just to be able to expand with the additional work that we have, and to be able to properly man those projects. We need to continually to bring in new people.
So I guess, you have any programs or anything that you're working to address those needs? How are you? Yeah,
so some of the stuff, we have a really good working relationship with the various schools in our area through our educational service centers. We started developing that relationship several years ago, and one of the first things that we were able to do is put on that Mahoning Valley Skilled Trades Expo.
Right.
So the first year we did it, we had over 4,000 kids. I believe it's the largest one in the state.
Oh, okay. I think you had like 5,000 or 6,000 last year.
Last year we had over 5,000.
Yeah.
So we've continued to grow. Now, when we were first talking about putting that on, our plans were if we had 500 kids there, we thought that was going to be very successful.
Right.
Well, then we ended up with about 4,000, so it was way more successful than we thought, which was great. And we've just been able to continue to grow and expand upon it. So that's the one main thing that we've done.
And that's you're introducing students, high school students, to the trades.
Yep.
To kind of, here's what's available, talk to them, get in their ear, let them know about the wages, about all of those benefits that you were just talking about. Yep. So that's kind of exposing them to what's out there.
That's absolutely part of it.
Right.
But you can do some of that at a career fair, right? But at a career fair, nothing against the career fairs, but for us to really be able to show the different trades, it's kind of hard for us to be able to do that in a career fair where you're sitting at a tabletop. So what we do is all the different crafts that are there, they have interactive displays. So we can get the kids hands-on. There might be welding simulators. There might be, not might be, there are welding simulators there. There are cranes there. So the operating engineers have a crane.
Yeah, I saw kids driving the crane.
They're in there, and they try to put it down into the bucket. So they're moving the boom around, and so they're able to get into equipment. They're able to experience stuff. The iron workers, plumbers, electricians, sheet metal workers, bricklayers. The bricklayers, they do a great job. It's a real skill to put that trowel in your hand with the mortar on there and spread it. And they get a bunch of different stations, and they have journeymen there, they have instructors there, and they are letting those kids put that trowel in their hand, spread the mortar, set some brick, just to kind of get them to see that. Cement finishers, they're pouring concrete, they're screeding it, the roofers, everybody has, all the trades have a hands-on display. So those kids can get in there and try it. And I'll tell you, the one thing that we really found out with this is some of the kids at the expo that really do the best are the females. They are very active, and they do a really good job. So hopefully, we're exposing some of those kids to things that they might not have thought that would be something for them. But it really is. So we just think it's a great opportunity to start to get that exposure to them.
When is that coming up?
That's coming up September 20th and the 21st.
Okay.
So the 20th.
And there's an adult portion to that too, right? The second day?
Well, it's the first day.
Okay.
On the 20th, we'll have students there. After all the students leave, I think it's from 3 to 6 p.m. on the 20th. Is when it's the open to the public portion, and then on the 21st we have school students there again in the morning, and then we just kind of try to break up on the 2 days, when the students are coming, so we're not so overwhelmed. And this year we're going to be in Junior Fair building, so we're going to all be under one roof, and that's a great facility out there at the Canfield Fairgrounds, and we're excited to use that facility for the first year this year.
And then in addition to, kind of bussing all the students out there and showing them everything, you're also kind of coinciding with that expo is the start of your pre-apprenticeship program, where you're taking it into the schools.
Yep.
Could you talk a little bit about what that is and how that's grown?
Yeah, so again, earlier I had mentioned, the relationship we have with the ESC. Mm-hmm. So when we first started to plan for the Expo, that's where we started to develop this, this relationship, right? Because it's our event collectively, the industry and the schools. So out of that relationship then, we've been able to get implemented into 15 different school districts now, a pre-apprenticeship program. So it's really based off of a carpenter's curriculum for the carpenters, that they have this curriculum approved through the Ohio Department of Education, mm-hmm. and that's the curriculum that they teach to. But that doesn't preclude them. The stuff that they learn in that program is transferable to any of the trades. So it just gives them an opportunity to start to learn about construction, to learn to use some hand tools.
It's kind of foundational stuff.
Yeah. And if they enjoy that, then they can learn more about other trades and say, okay, yeah, maybe I want to be a sheet metal worker, or maybe I want to be a glazier. But they have some of that foundational knowledge that really helps them then when they go to apply into that particular trades apprenticeship program, right? So if you and I are two applicants and you've gone through the pre-apprenticeship program and you have that basic knowledge, your application looks a lot better than my application.
Sure. Yeah. About how many students? I think we're about 500 the last time I heard.
Yep. That's about the number that I'm aware of is where we're at. 15 different schools, around 500 kids. So that's fantastic. So
are these programs, are these initiatives, are they starting to gain some traction? Are you starting to see more young people, coming through and gaining an interest in the trades?
Yeah, absolutely we are. There's some apprenticeship committee that I'm on. Gary in my office is on some. So we're seeing it at the application. We're seeing it at the interviews. We're seeing the kids that are just graduated from high school and they talk about that they were at the Expo, or we see on their application that they're in the pre-apprenticeship program. So yeah, we are starting to see that. It's been a little bit of a longer term approach, because when we first started doing this, some of these kids might have been in 10th grade or 9th grade coming through. So it takes a little while for them to filter through, and that's happening now, and we're seeing that. And I think if you talk to any of the different apprenticeship programs, they will tell you that they are starting to see some of these kids that have gone through the Expo or at the pre-apprenticeship level, that now they're making that transition from those programs into our apprenticeship programs. And one of the things that we've just did this year, is first year that we did it, is we implemented what we're calling a scholarship program, right? For kids that finished the pre-apprenticeship program and then were going into an apprenticeship program. And we had an application process for them to fill out, and then we awarded what we were calling a scholarship form. So we awarded, gift certificates to them for Red Wing shoes to get started out with, a good pair of work boots, which are not cheap. So got them started out with that, or power tool and supply to get some basic tools. And I tell you what, some of the applicants that we saw were impressive.
Yeah.
We were really pleased with because this is the first year that we did it, so we were really pleased with the applicants that we got, the number of applicants, the quality of the applicants. So we're excited about some of the stuff that we're doing now. Just this morning we had our guidance counselor breakfast.
Sure.
So that's something that we've been doing, again, multifaceted approach with trying to work with the schools. Just because apprenticeship programs, like for me and everybody in the industry, we understand it and know it. But for people not in the industry, there's a lot of differences, right? This trade has this type of application process, or this trade has that.
Yeah.
It's not uniform. So we've used that guidance counselor breakfast as a way to try to help educate the guidance counselors who are working directly with these students, to educate them on the ins and outs of apprenticeship programs, and to just make that connection. So if they have a student that's interested in the ironworkers apprenticeship program, okay, who do I go to and where do I go to get more information, get that student connected with that trade?
Right.
So that guidance counselor breakfast has been a great way for us to be able to do that. And we had that this morning out at the Mahoning County Career and Tech Center. We had about 60 guidance counselors there today. So it's just another avenue to try to help educate people about the opportunities in the industry.
717 Credit Union, savings power to give your business an extra boost. Business savings, certificates, and business money market. 717 Credit Union, make your money work as hard as you do. Check out our business money market and CD rates at 717cu.com/rates.